And I know that most of you have been promised based on political campaign. What I like to say to Ghana, I don't have promises. But one thing I can assure this nation is that I have a purpose that will suit the citizens of this nation. And so I want to say that the agenda of a politician and this leadership might be far apart, but it's also a reason why we all want to move our country forward. And that's a role that I've decided to play. Hence, the reason why the new force was found. And I am the leader for the new force. These are our critical reasons why we have decided to become a part of societal governance. I know that most people have been asking about my policies and what I intend to do in this country. Well, I would like to share some things with the nation today. I know that a lot of media platforms have tried to ask me, and I haven't given as much as I'm supposed to. But please bear with me. I shouldn't give it all. Today I will share some with the nation. And also, I'll share some with the media so the message can go out there, the policies, the agenda, and people should see why the new force is here, apart from the purposes of us wanting to be leaders of the new generation. My first policy is to introduce industrial regional revolution. Now, I say this because I think that from where I sit in the business world that I belong to, I have realized that the only city or region in the country that is fully active and economically viable is Accra. So there are 15 regions that we can build again. For me as a businessman, maybe you can call me Ghana's new CEO, but I see this as a great opportunity that 15 regions are not built. Anybody that can come and put businesses into these 15 regions would first of all create the most jobs ever in this country and create the most entrepreneurs ever in this country and create the best economic stability and prosperity in this country. And so I stand for this, and that reason is why we are introducing the regional industrial revolution. Every region in this country is supposed to have a purpose and supposed to have access to their resources, both human and mineral resources. Now, I'm not saying that the current government or the past government haven't thought of this, but it hasn't been done in a way that we can now stand here and say that we have 15 viable regions that is playing a part of the existing economy. So we want to feed that part of the economy, and that's our number one priority, to make sure that we start this and create jobs and create entrepreneurs and create success. This would help us to achieve the middle income nation that we're trying to build. But from there, I would like to go to the next phase of my policy, which is creating a technology hub in this country. The likes of the Silicon Valleys in America has really helped America in development. It's brought speed to the economy. It's brought speed to their industrialization. It's brought speed to their businesses, to their corporate world, to their development, even within the human development. In fact, speed is a key factor today. If you share a Wi-Fi address with me and it can't be loading anything as fast as it's supposed to, I will simply log off, because everyone is looking for speed. And I'm not doing this only because I think Ghana needs a technology hub, but because I also think that we have the biggest young population and they depend on technology. So if we are going to build our country, we should have these people at heart, and we should think about how we can sustain the young people. It's the only thing they know. They were born into technology. And if we want to build a future for Ghana, we should remember that the future of Ghana would depend on the youth of today, because they're the ones that have the years ahead of them, the decades ahead of them. So it's our second biggest priority to make sure that we create a sustainable platform for technology hub. And some of the things in the technology hub industry is very simple. One of them are data centers. And data centers to make sure that we have the information for all our reserves, the stock of this country. we should have it. The information of the youth, the brightest kid and the smartest kid, we should have all of that information and also be able to carry our data and information and control it. Besides that, we're still importing mobile phones and laptops from outside. When you have a technology hub, that is over because everything will be produced in the country. In fact, we'll be able to produce the likes of iPhones and HP laptops in this country. And we will be exporting some of these things from our own country. But we need to, first of all, build that technology hub. It's a platform, a cost. It needs a lot of energy, and we can do it. This technology is being done in different parts of the world. So already the blueprint exists. We just need to do it. I want the new Ghana to wake up about industrializing ourselves and building the things that will take care of the nation. Okay, and not say it in promises, but have a purpose to be able to do so. Now, some of my other policies, since we're talking about technology, we can quickly move to security and stability. The security of this country is very important, and we need to make sure that it's stabilized. A lot of people might be in this country today who are poisoning our waters, who are doing other things. These things are all about creating borders and security, even with technology, to support the entire country system. Now, I know I'm talking about security and stability today, but what would the Industrial Revolution, regional revolution do? It would bring job creation and human development. I think the country is lacking this. Okay, the country might be moving forward if they say we have 75 billion GDP, but everybody in the country, or 90% of us, are poor. We're facing problems and economical crisis. Okay, if we don't create jobs for the average person and move it from the 90% jobless people to at least 50%, our economy will never have a balance. So for us, it's very important that we create these jobs. It's much more easier to create the jobs by creating these platforms in the regions and stopping people from running from every region to the one active region, which is Accra. It is Abuja in Ghana, you know, and then when the people get here also and they can't get jobs, then they move out of Ghana. So we're losing a lot of Ghanaians who are going out of Ghana. And if these people were so bad, do you think Europe, America will be accepting Ghanaians? No. They are very useful. Human resources is very powerful. And that's why I want to invest in the youth of this country, because that resource go a long way. You know, they are huge in population. They are active. They are ready to work. They just need the jobs. We want to be able to do that in job creation and human development. Now, middle income economy. This is happening everywhere. In America, in Europe, in Asia, in China, everywhere that is a successful, well-developed country has a middle income people living in the country. It doesn't have some rich people trying to help some poor people. You know, there is a middle class lifestyle that actually holds and sustains the economy of the country. So for us, the ultimate goal is to make sure that we focus, that we reach there with humanity. We have also infrastructure development. And the infrastructure development, of course, there are a lot of things that we need to do in this country. Expansion of railways, which is one of the most important things to me. I don't see why we're in 2024 and the only way of transporting goods in our country is by road. Okay, you can't even put anything on any water, and you can't move containers by railways. So we can move 100 containers from the harbors to go to one place, but every one of these containers is going on a truck and is driving on the road and is polluting us, and it makes us think like we're not thinking to be with the modern world. The modern world are always finding sustainable ways to let the human within the enclosures have a better life. So for us, we're here to create a better life for our people. That's why we have come in as leaders and not politicians, because we don't understand the political principles that is governing this country at this moment, and we haven't seen the most benefits from it. But as the youth and the ones who are coming, I believe that this sustainability is highly demanded. And transportation or logistics is one of the most important things that creates speed in development. I'll give you a very good example. Jeff Bezos, when he created the Amazon, you know, the speed of delivering things to people's houses whilst they wake up in the morning and is already there has opened all sort of doors for people to even produce more goods, because they know that the logistics it's accessible, and it's visible. We have to do this in Ghana. And we already have the iron ore. The only thing that we don't have is the industrial platform and the energy to be able to turn the iron ore to steel. And then if we have the steel, I can guarantee you that I will bring all the Chinese not to come and extract our gold, but to come and work for us so they build our railways for us. We will bring all the white people from other parts of the world not to come and sit behind closed doors and cut deals and extract whatever resources that we have, but they will come and work for us. It is time that, we as Africans, we should understand that we have an open continent. Everybody is welcome to Africa, but nobody wants to help build Africa. Everybody is coming to Africa to take something and go. But we should stop it. We should now build our nations within Africa so the youth who are in Africa will start to gain value from their own resources. These resources belong to us. The gold, the oil, the silver, the platinum, the bauxite, it's all for us. They're state properties. And since we're citizens, we're entitled to have a part of it. We just don't have to be sitting down and then somebody else will come and take it and they know how to use it best. We start to buy from them again when we already own it. See, it's the reason why I have arrived. Because I thought that someone amongst us from the youth should stand up and bring these ideas out. Should stand up with courage and fight for the youth so they can have a voice. They can be a part of the decision. National decisions, and so we can be a part of our own development. This is what I stand for, a unifier between the government, the public, and the youth. So there is a fair governance for us as a nation. I don't know what you're going to call that, whether a president, a unifier, but I had to choose something. They told me that, yes, you have to be president. Some people are calling me incoming president, this, that. Look, I just know that president cannot happen without the press. But if I'm here to do the duties of the president, it's because I feel like Ghana needs development, both social development, human development, and even industrial development. These are gaps that needs to be bridged. And so the interesting part of having these infrastructures fixed, even expanding our roads, it's very important. I can still see single roads. And these single roads, if we can produce our own bitumen, okay, which is petrochemicals, we have a lot of quarries in our country. And these quarries, we can now build roads cheaper than what people are coming from outside to charge us, which is $1 million for a kilometer. Okay, it would take us 100 million to build 100 kilometers, which is a third of going to Kumasi on one side of the road. And if we're thinking this way, it's going to take us 2,000 years before we develop our country. But we have the resources here. So we need to refine it ourselves. We need to industrialize it ourselves. So we have access to it next to nothing. The price that we're not going to buy it with premium, with taxes and all of that. Once we do that, it's easier to build all of these roads and do all of these railways that I'm talking about with infrastructure. A country cannot also open up in development with infrastructure. And one of the things that brought America together was when Andrew Carnegie had to build a bridge from Chicago that crossed from Chicago to New York, and it formed the country together. People started trading and crossing. It's called cross-border movement. You can do it internally with your staff. Now, mostly, all of these things that we're talking about is based on a national governance, leadership, the responsibilities of our leaders who are supposed to help us to govern these things, to structure these things, and then give back to the middle class so they have a job and they keep it going. They're promised jobs for the next 20 years, then they're promised mortgages, then they have a life. Okay, and taxes and all of that. But I'll come to taxes as well. Now, I would like to talk about media. What we would like to do with media. First of all, I want to thank you once again, Mr. President, for this opportunity, for putting me here with all these great executives. And I appreciate your experiences very much. And I know that if I'm not saying something right about media, please don't forget to remind me, okay? Or teach me. Okay, but first of all, we are creating something called the GMF, Ghana Media Fund. I created this from New Africa Foundation. But my interest in knowing that this whole GJA was established for a great welfare, safety and interest of Ghana media made me realize partly I should be responsible to support the agenda of the growth of this entity. And so putting the GMF together was to just make sure that there are certain things within the media industry that we know that it needs to be uplifted and advanced. This can help. And with the help of all people like yourselves who have great experience in decades of doing this, I'm sure this would become very much sustainable. Now, let's start with cross-border media, which I have not seen in Ghana. Okay? When I say cross-border media, I will give you an example. BBC is a cross-border media. So BBC is British Broadcasting Corporation. But he has crossed all the way over the sea, everything, and he's come into Ghana. And everything he says is certified for you. It's a fact. The subject of the matter is that they are not only representing in England, or they're not just in Britain, but they're also everywhere in Africa, almost everywhere in the world. And they respect their news, their headlines, whatever they're doing. I believe that I can help this country to expand themselves to go cross-border, with the Ghana Media Fund, GMF. I believe that these are some of the investments that is going to open the cross-border movements, the gateway for us to be able to now send our media from Ghana to Nigeria. So we start to deal with facts that Nigerians will start to take our stories, that Kenyans will start to take our stories. I want my country, Ghana, to be the first platform to cross-border and make our media information become acceptable, wanted, used, needed around Africa. Because we need to share our news around ourselves. Europeans are doing it. They're sharing their news. BBC, CNN, they're sharing the news amongst themselves. And the more they do it, the more powerful they become. That's why we're accepting CNN here. That's why we're accepting BBC here. So we really want to help that with the media fund. And also, there are some other things that I think the media fund can help. Also, some of the things is AI. AI has come to stay. And it would really, really destroy us if we don't set some sort of structures and borders for it not to cross. So the AI that I'm seeing that is being introduced in Ghana is very negative. But we can use the AI in a very positive way for it to change the scale of our media industry. Because the youth, whether you like it or not, they like the new media. So they're definitely going to play with AI. And we have the opportunity to advance it. We have the opportunity to make it better and let it educate our people. I'm also thinking that the monitoring of the positive usage of it would really help. Media plays a vital role in elections and contribute to the national success of a government. So it is your responsibility to make sure that these borders are very much restricted with cyber conditions, regulations that restrict people from going out of their way to do wrong things. I mean, I don't know, you've seen something that they did with me, AI, picked my voice and then used it, and it's like treason. We cannot live like this as a country. And even if someone is somewhere doing that, that person should be arrested. He should be pulled out, because this is not for you to play with, to cause a whole country to be confused. You can create wars with this. The lives of 33 million people should not be joked with somebody sitting behind closed doors and just creating some voice that would, make the whole nation get confused. And I believe that the media restrictions would show Africa how swift and how quick we are with the response of managing such issues. And I count on you with this, Mr. President. I see a lot of opportunities with media, especially when we look at Africa as a whole. And Nigeria, it's our next door neighbors. It's 240 million people. If our news is being accepted by Nigeria, you will become very, very powerful.